We're finally doing some maths. Everyone is looking forward to this one, right? So this chapter introduces you to the math formula node. Now we have all the payment terms and volumes by vendor, but how do we determine which vendor to approach first? Do we just go by gut feeling? Maybe not, because we still don't have so much time. So how do we know which vendor to focus on? Using some maths, we want to find out which negotiation has the biggest impact, meaning which improvement would benefit our cash flow the most. To do that, we need a little bit of mathematics. Hope you don't mind calculating a little bit. See, I stole this formula for cash flow impact from the interwebs. Value divided by 100 times interest rate times days improvement divided by 360. Easy, huh? Now we only need to replace the elements with the columns from our table. The value will be our PVO. We assume an interest rate of 5.5%. The day's improvement is basically our target, 60, minus the current payment terms. Alright, now that we got this shiny nice formula, it's time to head over to our calculator called Knime. Okay, so the very first thing we need to do here is to add our math formula node to the workflow, and I already entered it into the node repository, which you can see here on the left hand side. But if you want to search for it manually, you'll find it under manipulation, column, and then convert and replace math formula. There we have it. So we select our group by node from the last lesson of the workflow, double click math formula, and just put it a little bit to the right, and we label it. So we call it calculate cash flow improvement. All right, that's it. So let's open up the math formula node by selecting it and pressing F6 to open up the configuration window. And this kind of setup or configuration should be already familiar to you, because it looks very similar to the rule engine node, which we had in the past. We also have some kind of expression editor here, and we have our columns on the left and the functions we can use in the middle, and our nasty, needy little description help function in Knime here on the right. So if we click one of those functions, it declares, or it explains what it basically does. All right, one thing to note here is we do not have all columns available here, because obviously you only can do math with numbers. That's why we only have number columns in here. But the very first thing we're going to do, because the formula, if you remember, was a little bit more complex, we just add the formula here as a reminder, or as a comment, so to say. So I have prepared that already for you. So let me just quickly paste it in. All right, and now we can use the expression or the formula itself by replacing these elements here with the ones we discussed. So the value will be the sum of the PO value. Okay, that will be divided by 100, and that will be written exactly like this. The interest rate is 5.5%, so we write it like this. Then we multiply it with the day's improvement, and the day's improvement is a calculation in itself, meaning it's our target rate, which is 60, minus the current payment terms, which is this second column here, first PMT days. But we have to encapsulate that in parentheses, because otherwise, and I'm pretty sure you know that already, 5.5 will be multiplied with 60, and that's not what we want. So, and finally, we divide it by 360. So that is our formula now put in here, and we can do all kinds of things. We also could do random numbers or square roots or anything like that, but we just want to do simple multiplication or simple math here. One thing we want to do, we want to append this as a new column, and we call this new column cash flow improvement. Then we click OK, and we see from the yellow traffic light that our column is ready to execute. So let's just execute it by pressing F7. And you can see here, or you can see also here, of course, output data is our new decimal, the cash flow improvement per vendor and per payment term within that vendor. Still not fully on a pure vendor basis, but that's what we will cover in the very next lesson. So now you can also automate mathematical calculation in Knime. Isn't that awesome? If you like this stuff, make sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future lessons. And we have come very far. And by the way, this is the last new node I introduced to you in this chapter. The next 2 lessons cover nodes you already know. So we will reuse some old knowledge from our brain. So you watched all lessons so far, didn't you? If not, and you have a question, just leave a comment down below using the hashtag HeyPhil, or just click like if you, well, like it. Now you can do quite complex stuff with the base data provided to you. Can you envision some other usage of the knowledge you have already gained? Well, leave it in the comments, and maybe we can do a live stream together where I help you to solve your problem in Knime. In the next lesson, we will once again revisit the group by node. Stay tuned. If you want to go to the first part of this online course, click this video. And here is just another video that shows you some very funny stuff you can do with Knime. Oh, and if you want to download the resources and chat with fellow students, just go here to this page over at procurementzen.com.